Come on. All right. So remember, we've done using the quadratic formula, which is probably easier of the two methods that we have on this quiz coming up. But I wanted to revisit completing the square because we need to practice that as well. So, somebody I heard talking about the blanks, right? We keep the a and the b part, the x squared and the x part on the left, and the c part, the constant, the 7, we move to the right. So we subtract 7 and we add our blanks. How do we fill in the blank?
Divide -10 by 2 and then square it.
Good. Remember, it was the b value divided by 2 squared went in the blank. Right? That's what he said. -10 divided by 2 is -5, and -5 squared is positive 25. It's always plus blank, because no matter if your b value is positive or negative, when you square it, you get a positive, right? So it's always plus blank. What we did then, when we complete the squares, we made it one of those perfect square trinomials that can be factored as one set of parentheses squared. Okay, so I added 25 to -7 to get the 18. Okay, and remember, to do completing the square, what's the a value have to be? 1, which it is, so we're good, right? So remember that. If you have one that isn't a 1 on your quiz Friday, you got to divide everything by whatever a is first. So anyway, the square root of x squared goes in the front, which is always going to be x, because it's always supposed to be x squared, remember. What symbol? Minus or plus? Minus. Whatever's in front of the b. And then what goes in the back? A 5. The square root of the 25, right? The square root of the blank. So that's what our equation looks like now that we can solve. All right, so at this point, what are we going to do? Come on. What are we going to do now? Right?
Square both sides.
Yeah, square root both sides. Okay, and the square root of something squared is itself, right? The square root and the square cancel each other out. Now, this 18, can we simplify it?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a perfect square?
No.
No. But there is a perfect square in there. The 9's a perfect square, so I can pull what number out? 3. Don't forget your plus or minus symbol when you do this step. And then we have to take the 5 over. How do I take the 5 over? Add, right? So we get 5 plus or minus 3 times the square root of 2. So I just wanted to go over that again. And we'll practice a few more today before we leave of completing the square, because that's what's also on our quiz, friend. Okay? All right, let's look at our homework. Number 2, who's got an answer for me? Maddie.
-6 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 6.
That's correct. So since we know the square root of 0 is 0, what's the final answer? -1. Good. There's only one answer on this one. That happens sometimes because the discriminant was 0, right? Isn't that what we worked on the second half of our homework last night? If the discriminant is positive, there's 2 real answers. If the discriminant is 0, like this one, there's 1 real answer, which our real answer was -1. And if our discriminant is a negative number, then there's 2 imaginary answers. How about number 4? Who wants to give me the answer to number 4? Elena?
1 plus or minus 1 radical 5 over 6.
You meant I radical 5 over 6, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Good. 1 plus or minus I radical 5 all over 6. Anybody need to see me do that? Okay. So number 4. It's already set equal to 0 in standard form for us. All right, so we're supposed to use the quadratic formula for this one. All right, and some of you like to put on the side your A, B, and C values, so I'll do that. A is 6, B is -2, and C is 1. And then we'll substitute in our formula. Okay, I'll write out the formula again, just so you guys can see it again. Most of you already have it memorized, right? Nobody's said right. I guess maybe not.
Right.
Oh, okay. One of you has it memorized. Huh? Okay, so that's what I'm plugging into, right? So x equals, again, I like to use the parentheses. That way I never get a wrong answer, because some of us use our calculators a little differently. So if you use the parentheses when you put it in your calculator, it'll work every time. All right, so I substituted 6 for the A's. I substituted -2 for the B's. I substituted 1 for the C spot. Okay? So my 2 out front here becomes +2, the 2 negatives. I like to do the 2 times 6 first. And remember, don't put the radical in your calculator, because you're going to get some decimal most of the time. Or in this case, you're going to get an error or a non-real answer, right? So just put the -2 squared minus 4 times 6 times 1 in your calculator. Don't put that radical symbol. We'll simplify the radical afterwards, okay? So -2 when you square it is +4. I'll do that in a different color here, over here to the side. -4 times 6 is -24 times 1 is still -24. So we get -20 underneath the radical. That's what our discriminant equaled, right? That's the b squared minus 4ac is the discriminant part. So I have to simplify that radical, okay? It's negative, and also there's a perfect square in there. 4 is in there, okay? So I got my 2, my plus or minus 12. I can pull the 2 out because of the 4. Since it's negative, I pull the I out for the imaginary unit, and then the square root of 5 is left. But I'm not finished, because 2 goes into all 3 of these numbers that are out from underneath the radical sign. So I can divide 2 into all those. So that 2 becomes a 1. This 2 becomes a 1. So you can put 1i if you want. I'm just going to put I. And then 12 divided by 2 is 6. So there's our 2 imaginary answers, because our discriminant was a -20. Okay? How about number 6? Nobody wants to give me the answer? Right?
-1 plus or minus 4.
No. Mr. Rick?
3, -5.
Correct. This one worked out nice. 3 and -5. Do I need to go over that one on the board? Anybody need to see it? Was that? Okay. Couldn't tell for sure. All right, so number 6. It was 2x squared plus 4x equals 30. So the first thing I did was subtract 30 to get it equal to 0. All right? So your C ends up being negative 30. A is 2, B is 4, C negative 30. Again, you don't have to do that little step there, but some people like to do that. That helps them. So I got x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So my x equals a negative 4 plus or minus the square root of something all over 4. All right, on the side here, 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 30 is a positive 240. Negative times negative. So that's 256. I like 256. Why? Watch. It's a perfect square. Okay? So check those when you get the bigger numbers. Okay? Check right away, see if it's a perfect square. So we're going to put 16 there, get rid of the radical. All right, so since all those are whole numbers, no radicals, I'm going to finish. Okay? I'm going to go negative 4 plus 16, which is 12. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. Then I'm going to do negative 4 minus 16, which is negative 20, which is negative 5. So I got two real answers, 3 and negative 5. Questions? All right, number 16. What'd you get for your discriminant part? Mr. Tripp, do you have an answer?
I said 2 imaginary.
Right, so what'd you get for your discriminant? What number? Negative?
25.
I got 23.
Could be 23. I got 23, but
Yeah, it's negative 23.
it's probably, yes.
Okay, you get 1 minus 24, which is negative 23. Number 18. Let me see. No. We won't have to. Alec, did you get that one right?
No, because I forgot to square it.
Oh, is that one you forgot to square? Jalen,
Probably not.
what'd you get for your number? You got 2 reals? So what'd you get for the answer? 52 is right. So 52, so that's a positive number, so it's 2 real solutions. Number 20, Berkeley.
I got 1 real solution.
So therefore she got what number? Everybody? 0. Very good. So smart. And for 22, Colin, what did you get?
Negative 47.
Good. So that means negative 2 imaginary solutions. Okay? Any questions over the homework? Okay, I'm just going to give you some problems to do in class, one at a time, and then I'll give you the night off. How's that? Okay? I won't give you any homework. Let me finish the video.